Hello, I am Dr. Farshad Amini Behbahani and this is short course of Iranian traditional medicine. In this section, we discuss about signs and symptoms of dominancy of the yellow bile. Yellow bile or choleric humor is the lightest and the warmest humor. Its taste is bitter or hot and its color is yellow or bright red in the blood and yellow in gallbladder. The main work of yellow bile is to penetrate other three humors through the narrow vessels. Somehow it is a vasodilator and it is part of food of the organs, especially those organs which need more yellow bile in their food compared to the other organs. I mean the lungs and the gallbladder. Actually, the gallbladder is the reservoir for thick part of the yellow bile. This part of yellow bile wash the phlegm and mucus from the walls of the gut, intestine and colon and help movement of digestive system and help awareness of defecation, also awareness of urination. In hungriness, in suffering from starving, after 1 or 2 hours, we have reflux of yellow bile, usually to the stomach, that cause loss of appetite. If you reach food and do not find food, you lost your appetite and you feel bitterness in the mouth. That's why in the restaurants at the beginning they serve you some salad with lemon juice or vinegar or another sour ingredient or some pickles, or in some restaurant sour yogurt that help washing this yellow bile from the stomach and bringing back the appetite. Of course, in long starvation, we have no yellow bile anymore in the stomach. The temperament of the stomach becoming cold and dry. So in this case, you should drink some hot water with some sweetener to bringing back the temperament of the stomach toward warmness and wetness that is proper for digestion of the food. It's another story. But what is told is help to evaluate the signs and symptoms of dominancy of the yellow bile and of course the lack of the yellow bile. Sometimes we have less than need production of the yellow bile, especially in cold intrinsic temperaments or in cold situation, or using some foods that wash the yellow bile, that cause less production of the yellow bile. So in these cases we have some sort of constipation without drying of stool. It's a delayed constipation. Usually person do not notice the defecation and do not reach to some places for defecation, and we have fullness of the bladder without any sense or urgency for urination that harm the bladder wall. And of course we have some problem with the lung because of lack of yellow bile. The respiration may become difficult. Chinese believe that hot foods help or strengthen the lungs. That's because hot foods and also fatty foods and sweet foods are those foods that help more production of yellow bile. In Iranian traditional medicine, we somehow explain this mechanism of helping hot food to the lung by explaining more production of the yellow bile. And in dominancy of the yellow bile, history of consumption of these foods help to reach the diagnosis. Warm intrinsic temperament, especially warm and dry intrinsic temperament, young age, because the temperament of this age also is warm and dry, and living in warm areas cause more production of the yellow bile, and these temperaments and in these habits make persons susceptible to dominancy of the yellow bile. It helps in history taking. In yellow bile dominancy, we have of course yellowish color of the skin and sclera. We have bitter taste in the mouth. We have dryness of the nose, dryness of the mouth, and coarseness of the tongue, and sometimes yellow coating of the tongue. We have rapid respiration and rapid pulse. The pulse becomes small and rapid. That's the characteristic pulse of yellow bile. The patient enjoy from cool breathing, enjoy from cold agents, and have low appetite, loss of appetite. I explain it because the warmness of yellow bile lose the stomach. It acts against astringent effect of black bile that cause feeling of appetite. Sometimes patients feel nausea and sometimes have vomiting with yellowish or greenish color. Patients feel needling on the skin. Sometimes feel thousands of needles on the skin. It's kind of itching, it's kind of pain that is related to yellow bile. Sometimes patients feel one spike penetration through the skin. It's another form of pain of the yellow bile. And dreaming of yellow bile is yellow. All of the objects become yellow in the dreaming, or patient see some clothes, for example, that not necessarily should be yellow, but in dream of dominancy of yellow bile, the shirt, for example, is yellow. Also, seeing fire, sun, or hot baths in the dream is characteristic for yellow bile.